It's a beautiful day to make history. And don't forget that the things you do and the things you left undone today will formulate your future. And possibly your children will be learning about you. Now you need to have this perspective about life that the things you do, the choices you make, the decisions you make is the content of the future. You know, there's this very superstitious belief that we have about the future in this part of the world. People will tell you, churches and mass religious leaders, the future is bright and great. But it's a product of the things you do. So the big question is, what are you going to do today in the course of time? I hope that you won't procrastinate, and I sincerely do hope that you will make a profit with time today in the course of the day. Thank you for joining us on TMI this morning on ITV, your ultimate news and current affairs program. It's time now to check out top stories making headlines on some of Nigerian newspapers today. And we'll kickstart with the Nigerian Punch. Of course, you expect to hear lots of stories about the ongoing state of emergency in 3 northeastern states of the country. Plateau residents in fear as soldiers pursue Boko Haram. And that's another twist to the story, the fact that members of the Boko Haram sect are fleeing away from the state's ongoing emergency rule to other neighboring northern states. Military operations already yielding results. That's what the presidency is saying today on the newspapers. And budget amendment bill may not be passed soon. Find out details on the Nigerian Punch. 2,000 flee Borno to Niger Republic. Interesting. And I'm sure that you want to read the story today. Rivers Speaker, others plan to employ bodyguards. All the feature stories on the Nigerian Punch today. Rivers Speaker, others plan to employ bodyguards, interesting one. And Reverend J.C. Jackson of the United States of America backs amnesty for Boko Haram. And I was reading through that article this morning. It's so inspiring to know that the troubles and the challenges that the country is facing today is not alien to other developed nations. While it was making examples with the United States of America, you know, some sects planning to recess and talking about recession and seceding from the country, and how America actually, overcome that challenge through dialogue and through consistent cooperation with these other parties. And it's so inspiring, and we really do hope that the Nigerian people, in collaboration with the federal government, will stem the tide of terrorism, and that this would just be like the pains of death, like I always say, and that would definitely give birth to a new season for our dear country, Nigeria. And in addition to that, J.C. Jackson made mention of the fact that there needs to be fair distribution of the nation's resources amongst the geopolitical zones in the nation, and that indeed has to be one area that the federal government needs to consider this season. Uniport workers seek federal government's intervention on ex-staff salaries. And this is coming from PDP in Rivers State will not succumb to blackmail. Find out details on the Punch. Military operations yielding results already. That's what presidency is saying on the papers today. Corruption. Akombi rally support for CJN anti-graft bodies. And finding more stories on the Punch newspaper. Lagos State government trains 26,049 youths. That sounds like a right step in the right direction. And punish violence against women. That's the Senate President David Mark speaking tough on the Nigerian Tribune this beautiful Monday morning. And CGN threatens to sack lazy judges. Okay, job creation, Oyo to partner private sector. And BOA targets urges United States to assist Nigeria on security. And we have to be very careful inviting the Western community into our land, because if you're a student of history and you find out what happens where United States has intervened. You really do not want that duplicated here in Nigeria. And Senate debates state of emergency proclamation tomorrow. And well, that proclamation might just be a decorative one. It sounds like all the members of the House are in full support. But let's find out what happens tomorrow. 14 Southeast roads fail rep standard test. And what would be the repercussion of that? Who is to be blamed? Are we talking about a refund of money or refurbishing? What's the implication of that on the budgetary allocation? What's the implication of that on the people who are awarded such contracts? Let's find out details as the story evolves on the papers. Oduaha's revolution in transport restores sanity. And still on the Nigerian Vanguard today, why morning flights are delayed at Lagos Airport. On the Nigerian Vanguard, priests protest Opaleke to be ordained outside Mbaise. And still on the Nigerian Vanguard today, customs firm disagree over scanner contract. CJN vows to sack unproductive, indolent judges. That's another fiery one making headline on the Nigerian Vanguard. And investors' confidence in Nigeria economy surge. Why will return rape victims to orphanage? That's a testimony from the Ogun State. Find out details on the Nigerian Vanguard. Away from the Vanguard now, let's find out what's happening on this day newspaper as I check the mobile update rather on this day live. Onumajuri Uko pitch for WGC regional. Oh, that story is inconclusive there. Let's find all the stories on this day live. Jonathan, emergency rule is yielding results. That seems to be a story you will find on every newspaper today. The presidency claiming that the move by Mr. President to declare state of emergency in 3 states in northeastern Nigeria is already yielding positive results as we speak. At Nasarawa massacre, police dole out 1 million naira each to bereaved families. Well, that begins to, it's a right step in the right direction, no doubt, but 1 million naira and the loss of life, I begin to look out how comparable that really is. Emergency rule disrupts transportation of beef, smoked fish from Bornu. And people are already saying since Friday they've been eating meals without meat and without fish. If that is happening less than a week to the declaration of state of emergency, the big question is, what is the fate of the people in this region, especially at this critical time in the Nigerian history? Lagos commences work on 4th mainland bridge. And subsidy fraud, Agbakoba joins Ogunbambo's defense team and seek to quash charges. Still on this day, NAMA workers threaten to close airspace today. Senate will delay pass of 2013 budget amendment bill. And Marco, why Achebe did not win Nobel Prize. Another interesting story found on the papers recently is Wale Soyinka saying Achebe and I are not grandfathers of literature in Africa. Amazing one. And that's how much time we permit us to take on the paper review this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. And I hope that you will find time out today, not only to read, but to study the trend of things in our dear country, Nigeria. And just like Evans Nokogie would say, don't join the Readers Club. Try to get a copy for yourself, because that is very, very important for documentation. And not forget that we'll bring you news update at 8:30, 9:30, and the world news at 12 o'clock, respectively. Stay with us for more on your news and current affairs program this morning on ITV. Don't go away.